Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me here on Practice. My name is Kendall. And today, what I wanted to offer is a 30-minute practice and class talking about chanting and also practicing chanting. Chanting takes its roots really from Bhakti yoga, and it's been a very powerful part of my journey as a student of yoga. One that helps me move beyond simply the physicality of the practice, i.e., trying to touch my toes or trying to get more stretchy or do the perfect back bend. It moves beyond just trying to achieve an asana or a posture, but it taps back into the deeper meaning of yoga, which is to yoke or to draw things together in union. And so through our chanting and through our practice of bhakti yoga, ideally we're trying to tether ourselves back to this big, beautiful, magnificent life in front of us. Some people call it tapping into the divine or tapping into spirit or source. Some people are even comfortable with calling it God. Whatever you call it, however you see it, this practice is a way for us to reconnect on a bigger level, to draw ourselves closer to an intimacy with life as it is, in all its perfection as it's arising. How cool is that? So chanting can be done in many different ways. I have a harmonium here that I'll use to support one chant that we'll do. I also have a drum. This is a djembe. You could use tablas, mridangas, or dholaks, or a multitude of other percussive instruments. And then we'll also talk a little bit about japa mantra, where we use a mala bead and a mala necklace to count our mantras. So let's talk a little bit about mantra. What are we saying? Well, mantra is the combination of two words, mana and tra. Mana references our mind, all right? All that stuff going on in between our ears. And tra is to train or to give a skill set or a tool to, or tracks. So what we're trying to do is take the mind and give it a focal point, a place where it can rest so that it's not racing all over the place. It can become very focused and absorbed on one thing, and that is the repetition of mantra, the repeating of these beautiful chants. So more often than not, we're calling out in our bhakti practice and in our chanting to a multitude of gods and goddesses from the Hindu pantheon. And in Hinduism, there are well over 33 plus million gods and goddesses. So people will really try and find someone or something that they're drawn to, the essence of something that they're drawn to or that they're trying to cultivate or nourish in their life. So to begin, our first chant, I'll do a chant to Ganesh. You have perhaps seen an image of Ganesha. He is the rotund, elephant-headed deity, beautiful, resplendent, and effulgent in so many ways. And Ganesh represents the removing of obstacles, but he also can be the one that can put an obstacle right there in front of us. Because when that is repeatedly done over and over, perhaps we finally figure out ourselves how to get through that obstacle. So we chant to Ganesh. He's also known as the Lord of New Beginnings. So we'll do a very simple chant to Ganesh, and it goes like this. Jai Jai Ganesh, Jai Jai Ganesh, Jai Jai Ganesh, Ganapati Om. Ganapati Om, Ganapataye. These are two different ways to call out to Ganesh as well. And the J part of it, the J, Jai Ganesh, J is really an exclamation point. It's like a yes. Yes, Ganesh. Okay? So traditionally in chanting and in kirtan, kirtan is this form where groups would come together to chant. There's a call and response. So one person would call the chant, and then the group or the other person would call it back. So I'll call one line, and then you can just chant along with me. Sound good? Let's try it. We'll do it with the harmonium. It's a beautiful way to support the voice. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Try. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Your turn. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Try it. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. One more. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Try that. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Two more. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Try. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Two more. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Jai Jai Ganesha, Ganapati Om. After we chant, we can simply close the eyes and let the mind just rest in. Sometimes I find that after I chant, when I close my eyes, my mind has become very still. It's become very clear and focused. And for that moment, I can see through all the illusions. I can see through all the dramas. I can see through some of my preferences. I can feel awake and alive in a different way. I can feel my heart start to open a bit more. And I can feel my breath become steady. That precious moment to rest in after the chant. When you're ready, softly reopen the eyes. Another reason that we do this chanting and this mantra for me is the breath work that it takes to do this. The breath control, the regulation of it, learning how to participate with it very actively, just like all of our pranayama practices. Learn how to be very connected to the breath. And through this chanting, as we learn how to stretch and hold notes, we become more cognizant of the exhale. We start to slow it down. And it is said that when we can slow down the breath, we can slow down this racing mind. A lot of us as yogis and yoginis are just looking for ways where the mind can become clear again, so that we can see through all the stories and see the beauty of this life all around us. And so through the practice of mantra, through the chanting, I feel like I can access that with the breath. Let's try a different chant. I'm going to use the drum now. We'll do a chant to Shiva. Lord Shiva is known as the essence of transformation, the one that can carry us from one moment to another. So maybe you could acknowledge points in your life, whether it was a graduation or a relationship changing, something that was transformed in your life. All of us, from that first inhale we were given at birth until the very last exhale when we exit, we are always constantly on this journey of transformation. And Shiva reminds us to dance through that with as much grace as we can, to embrace that life indeed is an ever-changing, ever-flowing, beautiful current of life, from the beginning until the end. So when I call out to Shiva, I'm honoring that. I'm trying to make peace with that this life is coming and going, that my breath is coming and going. So our chant is Shiva, 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 Shambho. And we say that a few times, so try it. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Try it one more. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Go ahead. And then we say Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Maha meaning the great one. Mahadeva, the great one Shiva. Mahadeva Shambho, the great, great, great Shiva. So let's call out to that essence. Again, traditionally this is done call and response style. I would call one line and then the group or you would just call the other line back. For now, in this class, I'll call the line and I'll call it back with you so that you can feel free to open your voice up with mine. So start to feel the rhythm of the drum. And then we'll chant. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Try. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Join in. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Shiva, 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 Shiva Shiva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. One more. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Two more. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. One more. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Last one. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Let your eyes close for a moment. Just see how that felt in your body. See how the vibration of sound moved through your heart. Perhaps it's still vibrating. Spend a couple more breaths here with the eyes closed. And then as you're ready, softly open the eyes once again. Sound is a very powerful force. Sound rides on the current of vibration. And it's quite interesting that modern day science, that quantum physics is now proving that there's a vibration to everything at a very, very small molecular atomic level. There is a vibration to everything. So as yogis, when we are chanting, we get to tap into this vibration. We get to tap into this oscillation, learning how to connect ourselves to that. Sometimes it can feel really good in the body, and sometimes it can unearth emotional things. If you notice where we're making the sound from, it's right here at the throat. right here at the throat chakra. And what is right below that? Our heart. Our beautiful heart that usually has so much to say, but we very infrequently will actually listen to it. We very infrequently will actually honor the whisperings or the cryings or the callings of the heart. We have sometimes suppressed the communication center deep in the throat, or perhaps at some point in a young age when we were so happy and singing jubilantly one day, someone said, shh. Perhaps they shushed us and they told us maybe to not be so powerful with the voice. And for a moment we quieted down, and for a moment we dimmed our own light, and we created a constriction and some walls in the throat that prevented us from speaking the truth of the heart. So another very, very potent reason that we practice this chanting in this Bhakti yoga is to unearth the voice of the heart, to let that be heard once again so that it can ring clear, so that we can start to speak up for injustice, speak up for inequality. And through our chanting, we can raise the level of our voice. We can let it rise up so that we can speak louder when we see injustice in our world. And we can begin to meet it head on with that clear mind that has been trained by mantra, and with an open heart that has been cracked open through the practice of Bhakti yoga and chanting. Thank you for sharing your voice. There's another very, very important part of our practice of mantra, and it is done on our mala beads. This is japa mantra. Japa simply means to repeat over and over and over. And so we use the mala beads to do that. We always do it on the right hand, and we never have the mala bead strung over the pointer finger, because the pointer finger is our ego, right? It's the one where we point and say you, or we point and say me, and we create this separation between the two of us, which is silly. So we don't invite that into our practice. Instead, we have the mala beads strung over either the middle finger or the ring finger. And we use our thumb to actively pull and count one bead at a time as we draw the beads near us. And we say the mantra on each and every single bead. So there is typically 108 beads on each mala, plus a guru bead. The guru bead is usually bigger, and it may have some type of adornment on it. Now, we never use the left hand on our mala, because the left hand traditionally was used for something very different in the Hindu and Indian culture. So we always use the right hand. And one bead at a time, we come through 108 rounds of a mantra. So now we're going to circle all the way back to our Ganesh chant, and we're going to do a Ganesh mantra on our mala bead. The mantra is Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Again, just listen. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Gang is the bij mantra, the seed mantra for Ganesh, a very encapsulated, potent energy of the entire mantra in one little syllable, Gang. And then Ganapataye is another name for Ganesh, as I mentioned. And Namaha means to bow into Ganesh. So we're going to come through 108 rounds. You can simply listen and chant it internally. That's another practice. Or chant it externally with me. I'll do it along with you. You can close your eyes. We'll come through 108 rounds. To begin, exhale all your breath out. Take a nice full inhale, and then we begin. Om Ganganapataye Namaha, Om Ganganapataye Namaha, Om Ganganapataye Namaha. 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 Let the mind just rest quietly for a moment. Take a nice, slow, steady, deep inhale all the way in through the nose. Open the mouth, big exhale. Let the eyes softly flutter open. Pausing here. Thank you for going on this journey. Thank you for exploring a bit more with chanting. There is much more to come. All my classes will have a little element of the Bhakti practice and chanting in them. Thank you for joining today, my friends, my fellow teachers. Namaste.